Dear students, in this video, let's have a clear-cut idea about electrovalent bond or ionic bond. What is meant by electrovalent bond and ionic bond? When a bond is formed by complete transfer of electrons from one atom to another, so as to complete their outermost orbit by acquiring 8 electrons. Due to the transfer of electrons, that means if you take an atom, this has an outermost electron and this electron should transfer to the another atom to get outermost octet electron. So, if this electron is transferred from this atom to another atom, this atom should satisfy the octet rule. What is octet rule? The outermost shell must contain 8 electrons. That is the octet rule. Most probably, atoms are electrically neutral. Electrically neutral. That means inside the atom there is a nucleus. Nucleus has protons and neutrons. Then around the nucleus in specific orbits there must be presence of electrons. So, nucleus has positive charge due to these protons. Electrons have negative charge. Due to the repulsions and attractions, always there must be a repulsion forces and attractive forces in between the electrons and as well as the protons. Due to these repulsions and attractions, atoms are electrically neutral. Therefore, they possess equal number of protons and electrons. This only we should say that atomic number. Then, on losing an electron, just by losing an electron, an atom becomes positively charged. Atom become positively charged. This can be represented by and one electron. In the place of A, you can take any atom. Here, a positive ion has formed due to loss of electron. This is the electron, loss of electron. This positively charged ion is known as cation. On other hand, if in case of atom gaining one electron, the number of electrons exceeds the number of protons and thus the atom becomes negatively charged. That means, if you take an example, B is an atom. To this atom, if you add one electron, then this atom should get one electron like this. This must be negatively charged particles. Negatively charged particle, nothing but an ion. This is known as anion. So, cation should be formed by losing of electron and anion should be formed when the electron has gained. So just by seeing these cation formation and anion formation. Such a type of bond is formed when only of the atoms can easily lose electrons, while the other can gain electrons, and thus each require the stable electronic arrangement of the nearest noble gas. That means, if you take an example, here cation has formed. In this example, one anion has formed. These are oppositely charged particles. Here must be a transfer of electron takes place due to the loss or gain of electrons to satisfy the octet rule. Let us see briefly with some more new examples. The example is formation of sodium chloride. Sodium chloride, this is the compound. It has Na plus ions and Cl minus ions. That means already we know that Na plus ion is the cation, that is positively charged particle. Then Cl minus is the anion, negatively charged particle. So NaCl is a compound which must has a positively charged ion and negatively charged ion. Let us see one by one the formation of NaCl. First, Na plus ion has formed, afterwards Cl minus. Let us see the formation of Na plus ion. This can be formed from sodium atom. Sodium, the symbol is Na. Why? Because the atomic number of sodium is 11. So, sodium contains 11 electrons and 11 protons. Okay, is it clear? And sodium has the configuration, that means sodium electronic configuration. What is meant by electronic configuration, students? Every atom has some electrons. So, configuration means the distribution of these electrons in specific orbitals. The representation should be known as its electronic configuration. Coming to the sodium electronic configuration, 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s1. So these are the 1s orbital, 2s orbital, 2p orbital and 3s orbital, as you know. And if you add these electrons, you should get 11, the number 11. So that indicates the electrons, total number of electrons. 1s2, that means that is the K shell. 2s 2p, that is the second shell, nothing but L. The third shell is M shell. So here if you take M shell is the outermost shell. Outermost shell. Outermost shell contains how many electrons, students? Here see only one electron. So that one electron is known as outermost electron or the valency electron. So now we are discussing about ionic bond. Ionic bond has formed due to the transfer of electrons, that thing you know. Then which electron can be transformed from sodium? That means this one electron which is present in the outermost shell, that sodium atom contains one outermost electron in M shell. If you write the shorthand notification, just like shorthand notation for the sodium atom electronic configuration, just nothing but 281. Here this 1 indicates the outermost electron. For the formation of the Na plus ion from the sodium atom, we should represent like this: from Na plus 1 electron. Here if you see the configuration 281, by losing 1 electron the Na plus atom has formed. This is known as cation. If you write the electronic configuration for this cation, 280, nothing but 2 and 8, these are 10 electrons. So these 10 electrons belongs to neon. Now we can say Na plus ion has the electronic configuration of the neon. This is the formation of the cation. Now let us see the formation of Cl minus, nothing but chloride ion. Chloride ion. For this we have to know the chlorine electronic configuration and the chlorine atomic number. The chloride ion has formed from the chlorine atom. The chlorine atomic number is 17. The electronic configuration 1s2, 2s2, 2p6. The chlorine electronic configuration 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2 and 3p5. Then if you segregate into shells wise, here this is the K shell, L shell and M shell. That means K is the first shell, it contains 2 electrons, L is the second shell, it contains 8 electrons, and M is the third shell, it contains 7 electrons. So this M shell is known as outermost shell. This outermost shell contains how many electrons, students? 7 electrons. So these 7 electrons are known as valency electrons. So the chlorine atom has to satisfy the octet rule. It needs to gain 1 electron. Why? Because in the outermost shell there are only 7 electrons. To satisfy the octet rule, it needs to have only 1 electron. For that, chlorine plus 1 electron, then Cl minus ion has formed. If you notate the valency electrons around the chlorine atom, it has 7 electrons. Why? Because 2, 8, 7. So this 7 is the outermost shell electrons, that means valency electrons. By using upon Lewis dot structure, just like Lewis dot notation, we should represent like this: around the chlorine atom 7 dots should be present. If you see this structure, 1 electron we have added already, so it has here 8 electrons. This is the chloride ion, nothing but anion. Now we have the two species. One is positively charged sodium ion and other is negatively charged chloride ion. As they approach each other, they have held together by strong electrostatic forces. And in between these two, there must be electrostatic forces of attraction. Thus the formation of sodium ion takes place. Thus the formation of sodium chloride compound takes place. Let us see. Already Na plus ion has formed and Cl minus also ion has formed. By using these two, Na plus and Cl minus, the compound has formed. Now let us see a shorthand notation or a symbolic representation for the Lewis dot structure for the Na plus ion and the chloride ion. Here see, this dot represents the outermost electron. Here see, one electron only for the sodium atom. Here only the 7 outermost electrons for the chlorine atom. By transfer of the electron from the sodium to the chlorine, transfer of electrons takes place. That's why here sodium loses one electron. For that reason, when Na plus ion has formed, that is known as cation. Here chlorine gained one electron, so Cl minus has formed, that is anion. This is the formation of NaCl compound. Let us recall our class students from first onwards what we have discussed about electrovalent bond or ionic bond and formation of cation and anion. What is meant by ionic bond? When a bond is formed by complete transfer of electrons from one atom to another atom to complete their outermost orbits to acquire 8 electrons, that is known as ionic bond. Here Na plus ion formation and chloride Cl minus ion formation also we have learnt. If you like this video, please share and subscribe my channel. Thank you.